1/4 of what you eat keeps you alive, and 3/4 of what you eat keeps your doctor alive.
I used to get high for a living, eating on the bullshit food they sold me.
Cancer rates going up, heart disease going up, stroke going up.
We're poisoning ourselves with highly processed, nutrient-depleted foods.
Obesity negatively impacts one's health in a variety of different ways. Complications including heart disease, high cholesterol, type 2 diabetes, stroke, depression, and many more. It is the primary factor in 5 out of the 6 leading causes of death in the United States. Obesity will soon pass smoking as the #1 avoidable causes of death in America. Obesity-related diseases kill well over 400,000 Americans each year. 1/3 of all adults are obese, another third are overweight, and 1/3 of all children and teens in the United States are obese. Before 1963, diabetes was only seen as an adult disease. Now much more children are developing problems such as type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and psychological problems such as low self-esteem and depression.
How did the entire world get this fat, this fast?
Storm. We have had the confluence of this changed food environment, the restricted activity like no PE in schools, and chemicals that we're not quite sure what we're being exposed to. And they're working together.
So the change in the food supply so that those highly palatable foods are more easily accessible. So we can reach for that comfort food at any street corner, at any time during the day, and have a few extra calories.
The whole industrial food system really began with fast food. In the 1930s, a new form of restaurant arose, and it was called the drive-in. The McDonald brothers had a very successful drive-in, but they decided to cut costs and simplify. So they fired all their car hops, they got rid of most of the things on the menu, and they created a revolutionary idea to how to run a restaurant. And they basically brought the factory system to the back of the restaurant kitchen. They trained each worker to just do one thing again and again and again. That mentality of uniformity, conformity, and cheapness applied widely and on a large scale has all kinds of unintended consequences. When McDonald's is the largest purchaser of ground beef in the United States, and they want their hamburgers to taste everywhere exactly the same, they change how ground beef is produced.
More than a third of American men and women are obese, according to a new study by George Washington University. And the excess weight is not just killing their health, it's killing their wallets. The economic cost of being obese can be as much as $4,879 per year. This includes on average both medical and non-medical costs. Some include increased hospital visits, prescription drugs, lost wages, and lost productivity when you're not working as hard or making as much as you could be. Over the last 20 years, here's what's happened with food consumption. Hamburgers are 23% larger, soft drinks have increased by 52%, snack portions have grown by 60%, and standard dinner plate sizes have increased by 2 inches. Obesity has become an epidemic that is not only taking a toll on one's health, but drastically impacts society and the economy.
Waistlines. The yearly medical costs of obesity are estimated at over $147 billion. This figure has ballooned by more than 80% over a 5-year period. 75% of healthcare costs stem from preventable chronic conditions. Overweight and obese men have significantly more medical expenses per year than those at a healthy weight. This figure is even larger for women.
How do you think obesity impacts healthcare costs?
Well, people with obesity have come with a lot of healthcare or health issues like heart problems, lung issues, type 2 diabetes, which does raise the cost of healthcare.
Frankly frightening. Obesity-related disease kills 400,000 Americans each year. Medical treatment of obesity and its more than 24 associated conditions costs nearly $100 billion annually, according to some estimates, with about half paid by taxpayers through Medicare and Medicaid.
Obesity has not only been taking a toll on one's health, but it drastically impacts society, the economy, and other people, which poses the question, should government get involved? What do you think? Should government intervene? Should government help provide programs to make it more affordable and easier to access good, nutritious foods and help provide more convenient forms of exercise to the public? Or should government completely stay out of it because the weight of the nation isn't any of the government's business in the first place? Some would argue that the government should not have the right to regulate what people can and cannot consume and what they can and cannot look like. But others say the opposite, that just like cigarettes, the financial toll of obesity in healthcare affects other people, therefore should be addressed, and people should be given aid to help them make more responsible choices for themselves. What do you think?
What government is going to do to help people lead healthier lives and how the public can provide greater health leadership for the public. As obesity will soon pass smoking as the #1 avoidable cause of death among Americans, a re-examination of our national health policy is more than warranted. And Henry, it took us a long time to get together on a smoking bill and FDA regulation. Maybe we can work on an obesity bill once we get that through.
Use the marketplace through taxation to really shape purchasing behaviors. Some would argue that we have to employ the same tactics to really reshape our food environment.
Now to the new proposal from New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg that's being met with some mixed reactions. As we told you on Thursday, he wants to outlaw large sodas and sugary drinks to help fight the obesity epidemic. Mayor Bloomberg is with us this morning.
Weight or obese.
Giving responsibility away from the person and putting it onto the government's hand is usually a pretty bad recipe.
Cal Poly economics professor Michael Marlowe.
Fat acceptance activists is that it's not the government's job to get involved with regulating obesity. It's not the government's job to consider obesity to be an epidemic, because it's not. The government has no business caring about how much of the population is obese. It doesn't matter how much of the population is obese. Those are individual decisions, and individuals should suffer the consequences of their own obesity.
Do you think government should be involved in the obesity epidemic, or is it more of a personal responsibility?
Well, I think it's a personal responsibility. I don't think the government should be in the business of reallocating everybody else's money to take responsibility for other people's irresponsibility. If they want to eat, get fat and sick and die, then they should take personal responsibility for that. That's a personal responsibility issue, not the government's.
Do you think government should intervene with the obesity epidemic? Why or why not?
I don't think they should intervene with the obesity epidemic because people should take responsibility for themselves and the government shouldn't take that role.
Just leave me alone. I'm happy.